Okay, so let's get into it. We have been handed a complete, highly structured blueprint for a 10-minute language lesson.
Right, and this isn't just, a research paper about learning English.
No, exactly. This is the actual, fully scripted lesson plan.
It's from a series called English in 10 Minutes, so the context there is key.
Absolutely. So our mission for this deep dive is to really analyze how this script defines and I think structures a foundational social skill.
And constrains it, in a way.
Yes, that's a good word for it. The goal, stated right on the first page, is to help the learner sound friendly and confident. It's basically an instruction manual for low-stakes social engagement.
I find that fascinating. The sheer efficiency needed for that 10-minute constraint means they can't teach nuance.
No, they have to teach survival.
Exactly. It's a social protocol. It's less about perfect grammar and more about meeting cultural expectations.
So let's jump right into the definition, because the very first thing the lesson does is define what small talk is.
And maybe more importantly, what it isn't. It boils the whole concept down to its absolute essence. Small talk is explicitly defined as short, simple conversation.
That focus on brevity, on being short and simple, that's the foundation for the whole thing. It's designed to seem less intimidating.
And they immediately put up a boundary? The lesson draws a hard line, just says it straight up. Small talk is not deep conversation.
And you can almost feel the psychological weightlifting off the learner right there.
Yes.
You don't have to be a philosopher. You don't have to be a life coach.
No, if you're starting to talk about existential dread, you have fundamentally misunderstood the assignment. It has to be light, polite, and friendly.
That's not just descriptive, is it? It's a rule.
It's totally prescriptive. It sets the conversational ceiling. It guarantees safety and comfort for everyone involved.
I think that's the first real nugget for you, the learner. Small talk is almost like conversational maintenance. It's not really about information exchange.
It's phatic communication. It's language that's used to perform a social function rather than to convey information. The words themselves barely matter.
But the fact that you spoke them.
That matters immensely. It lubricates the social interaction.
And they lay out 3 core functions for why you'd even do this. The script says you use it to break the ice, to be polite, and this is the big one, to start a relationship.
Those 3 functions show that small talk is purely instrumental. It's a gatekeeper.
So,
It facilitates whatever the next interaction is going to be, a business deal, a new friendship. If you fail at the small talk stage, that gate just stays closed.
and the script really hammers home that this is necessary. It says small talk is very common in English-speaking countries. It's not optional.
It's a social lubricant, and maybe culturally a bit more essential than in some other places where, just being silent together is more accepted.
They also paint a picture of where you'll need it.
Yeah, they set the scene. At work, at school.
In elevators.
That's the classic one.
Or when meeting someone new. Basically, it covers most of non-intimate public life.
That elevator example is so key, though. We've all been in that situation where you feel like you just have to say something.
Right.
That feeling is exactly what this 10-minute lesson is designed to solve. It gives you the tools for those awkward 30 seconds.
It's instant scaffolding.
Oh.
Okay, so let's move on to the rules of engagement. This is where the lesson really establishes the boundaries.
And they spend a lot of time on it, a full 2 minutes out of 10.
Which is a lot.
It's a fifth of the lesson. It's clearly important. They call this section the safe and common topics. It's a social cheat sheet.
I think this is where they really try to reduce the learner's anxiety.
For sure. Knowing there are only 4, universally safe paths to walk down is incredibly empowering. It's like a social firewall.
It directs you away from any potential controversies.
Through deep vulnerability.
So what are they? What are these 4 pillars?
Okay, so first, the weather. The classic.
Of course. Second, work or studies.
Third, the place you are in. And finally, weekend plans.
And that's it. If it's not one of those 4, the curriculum implies you should, steer clear.
It's a fascinating cultural insight, isn't it? These are topics literally everyone has a simple, low-stakes answer for. No one feels threatened talking about the rain.
But isn't that a little robotic? Just
Yeah.
prescribing 4 topics.
Well, I think the idea is to give the learner conversational momentum. So if someone starts talking about, their complex tax issues,
Yeah.
the learner has the tools to just pivot, to say something like, oh, that sounds complicated. Hey, any plans for the weekend? It's a defensive move.
masquerading as polite curiosity.
Exactly.
And the genius of it is that they pair these topics with specific linguistic templates, these linguistic nuggets.
Yes, it's not just talk about the weather.
It's a nice weather today, isn't it?
Then let's break that phrase down. Nice weather today, isn't it? That is not a question seeking information.
No.
It's a tag question. It's a statement with a little invitation for agreement attached to the end. It requires almost zero effort from the other person. A nod, hey, it is.
It's a ready-made script. For work, it's what do you do for work? For location, is this your first time here?
And my favorite, the future-oriented closer. Any plans for the weekend?
These are simple structures that just build immediate confidence.
And you can see the assumption underneath all of this.
Which is?
That the learner needs to avoid generating original complex language. By giving them the exact words, they're building muscle memory. It's classic pedagogical scaffolding.
And it's not just words. The lesson gives explicit etiquette advice. The do's and don'ts.
Which are just as important. The two big do's are entirely nonverbal, which I love.
Smile.
And keep your tone friendly.
It shows they understand that small talk is what, maybe 50% linguistic?
At most.
Yeah.
You can ask the most perfect, safe question, but if your face is blank or your tone is flat, the whole thing just fails.
So you're being taught emotional signaling.
Along with vocabulary, yeah. And then there's the cardinal don't.
Don't ask very personal questions.
This just reinforces that foundational rule. Keep it polite, keep it light. The second you ask about their divorce or their political history, you've left the safe zone.
And you've failed the objective of being friendly and confident.
And that don't is also a shield for the learner. It tells them you don't have to navigate that stuff. You can stay in this pool of shared, harmless reality.
So moving on from those 4 safe topics, the lesson then introduces what it calls the 4 very natural small talk questions.
Right. These are the general openers. They aren't tied to a specific topic like weather or work.
They're more like general purpose tools for when you have no context yet.
And they are. How's your day going? Where are you from? What do you do? And do you like living here?
If you just memorize those 4, you're basically never without something polite to say.
The inclusion of where are you from and do you like living here is a really smart move.
Why?
Because they immediately open up geographical topics. And geography is generally safe. It's about places, not deep personal feelings.
Ah, I see. So if they say, I'm from London.
You immediately have a built-in safe topic. You can talk about the weather in London or their studies in London.
So each question is a doorway that leads directly back to one of the 4 safe topics.
It's a closed-loop system. It's designed to minimize the chance of hitting a dead end. It's really quite brilliant.
And this is where it gets really interesting because the script then moves into a mini dialogue to show how it all works together. They spend 3 full minutes on this.
Out of 10.
This is the application phase.
This is the moment for the learner to see the scaffolding in action. They need to see the flow. From the opener to a safe topic to a structural question that builds a connection.
So the dialogue starts exactly as the lesson says it should. Person A says, "Hi, how's your day going?"
Followed by a reciprocal response. The ice is broken. Acknowledgement achieved.
Then they smoothly shift to the weather.
Of course, using that exact pre-taught phrase, nice weather today, isn't it? It's all about teaching repetition and predictable patterns.
What's great is how the script handles the transition out of weather because that's always a dead-end topic.
You can't talk about the weather for very long.
So once the check-ins are done, the conversation shifts to work. By the way, what do you do for work?
And that, by the way, is a crucial little linguistic bridge.
It signals a subtle, acceptable topic change.
Right. It shows the learner how to move the conversation forward without it feeling awkward.
And they don't just leave it there. The source gives a specific detail. One person in the conversation says they're a graphic designer.
And think about that choice. Why a graphic designer?
Yes, it's specific. Easy to imagine.
And it's globally relevant and doesn't usually carry any intense political or emotional baggage.
Yeah.
It's a perfect neutral profession, for an example.
And it lets the learner immediately practice a follow-up, right? Something simple like, oh, do you like it?
Exactly. It keeps the example grounded and actionable. It proves you can move the conversation forward without introducing any drama.
It feels real, but it's still simple, polite, and friendly. That 3-part mantra again.
And then we get to the final section of the lesson, the quick practice. It's just 1 minute long, but it's all about internalization.
Right. It required the learner to answer the questions out loud.
That is so important. It's not passive learning. It ensures they're training their speech muscles, not just their brain. It's active application under a little bit of pressure.
What's really telling is what they chose to test. They don't test everything.
No, the practice section only focuses on 3 specific questions. These are the absolute core takeaways, the minimum viable product for small talk success.
So, if you're that learner, what are the 3 questions you absolutely must master?
They are, how's your day going? What do you do? And what are your plans for the weekend?
Wow.
Think about that. If you can answer those 3 questions fluently and politely, you have mastered the essentials of this entire curriculum. It's the ultimate shortcut.
That really does summarize the whole method perfectly. Simple, structured, and just laser focused on immediate application.
They teach you only what you need to survive those first few minutes, nothing more. It respects your time by minimizing the cognitive load while maximizing social competence.
It's about training conversational muscle memory.
So that when you're standing in that elevator, you don't have to think, you don't have to translate, you just deploy the pre-approved phrase.
So to wrap up, what have we learned? We've seen the blueprint. Small talk must be short, simple, friendly.
It has to be the opposite of deep, complex conversation.
We know the etiquette smile, keep it light, don't get personal, and we know the absolute necessity of sticking to those 4 safe zones: the weather, work, the place you're in, or weekend plans.
It's a comprehensive system for achieving that initial social comfort, especially when you're in a new linguistic environment.
But let's end with a final thought, a more provocative one that builds on what we've just discussed.
Okay.
The whole lesson, the entire foundation, is that small talk must be light and not deep conversation.
Right.
Yet, the stated ultimate purpose of small talk is to start a relationship.
And relationships are built on vulnerability and shared depth, the exact antithesis of this polite, light structure.
Exactly. So here's the thought for you to consider. Given that the goal is to actually connect with someone, how quickly does small talk have to transition into deep conversation for a real relationship to form?
What's the mechanism for that transition?
Yeah. How do you get from the weather to something that actually matters?
Yeah.
That's something for you to think about. That tipping point from polite noise to genuine connection the next time you comment on the weather.